Okay, you're good.
Was good. All right. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this opportunity to get together to meet and discuss for this class. We're grateful for opportunity to learn and bless us with that guidance and that everybody can make it that is willing and say things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, so just kind of a quick synopsis. I'm sure you guys have all done your checked out our case study. Mary Griffin is the lady. Basically, she's the vice president of consumer products at Derby Foods, and one of her newest managers is seems to have some kind of issues, cultural issues, I guess, yelling at people, stepping out of his role, and so we're supposed to identify the problem and then figure out how we can help Mary talk to him because they're having a meeting. Anything else you guys want to add?
No,
No, I think that's it.
Cool. So, all right. So of course we want to go over a couple questions, case facts, the culture, and then answer a couple questions. So what do you think the issue was with Simon York?
Yeah, I think his issue is just handling problems. I mean, obviously he overreacted. He made his team feel uncomfortable, and they're not going to want to work for him in that situation because of how he reacted. So he just needs to work on handling problems, honestly.
I agree.
I think he definitely has some anger issues that he needs to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. It talked a lot about company culture. And so that's not how the company, I mean, that works in some companies, but obviously the culture is different in this company. So,
yeah.
Why is it important for him to have be in line with the company culture?
Can't clash. Otherwise, you're just grinding gears. I mean, it may get you some instantaneous results, but eventually you're going to peter out your team, and they're not going to want to work with you. They're not going to care for the work. They're not going to care to make you happy. They're not going to care to make the company happy. It's overall great for the company to just build your team up from the bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's all about making sure his team's motivated. So if he's being a jerk and limiting their creativity and what they can do, it's just holding everyone back, and things aren't as good. So
cool. So we know what he does that isn't good. What is the actual culture of the company? Kind of a hands-on, multi-involvement. I don't know.
You want to go for that one?
Sure. I mean, I don't know how much it really said about the culture of the company, or at least what they wanted the culture to be. Obviously, Mary didn't agree with how he responded the first time. So I think obviously, in every place wants their culture to be a place where people enjoy working, and people feel valued. And I feel like, obviously, with how he responded, they didn't feel valued with how he demeaned them pretty much in front of all these executives and whoever else who's seeing this presentation, and just completely blaming it on them. And it was almost like he didn't really take any responsibility for what happened. No. And I talk about that one more. I think that I thought that when Mary brings him in to talk, that she probably shouldn't mention what happened in the warehouse or in the productions, because she wasn't there for it. So I thought that could kind of turn into like a he said, she said, like, oh, well, I didn't yell at him. Like, but the one with his presentation, she did, like, she was there for that, and she could read how everyone else was reacting. So
Yeah, I thought it was interesting when she called the meeting. She didn't tell him why. I mean, I think you don't want to blindside the poor guy, but I mean, I would ask his what had happened and just see what he says. I don't think you have to actually bring it up like you're saying, but at least get his
Yeah,
side.
yeah. I did write that as well, to at least hear what happened and see kind of why he reacted the way he did, or like.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's see. Says, what are corporate politics and how can it affect culture? Politics. I don't think I've ever had a job that didn't have politics in any form.
Yeah, but there's also a big difference between like, I mean, like if you've ever worked in like a mom and pop shop, there's a big difference between the culture there and between corporations. I would honestly say that the biggest difference there would be the attitude from the executives. It'd be like the owners and all business owners would be probably more chill and more relaxed, but big executives, they're all about results-based work, you know. I think that in corporations, it's a lot higher stress and a lot more of worrying about the results rather than the people.
Yeah, it's because there are more people. I mean, you have all these different layers, kind of like
very true.
In the big corporate world, but then the mom and pop, you basically have employee and boss. So
yeah,
looks like Valerie made it on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool. Sorry about that. That was my mistake. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. So
neither do I.
Well, you found us, so cool.
Yeah.
So we're just
sorry. No, I was just gonna say, I think that like it's must be a pretty competitive place with how he reacted, and he was like, what did he say? If this was the representation that could really hinder your future, I don't know. I thought that was kind of messed up, that it would be, I don't know, that big of a deal, or I don't know. To me, it didn't seem like it was what it say, a computational error, so like a typo or something.
Right, the X wasn't big enough or something. For the
no,
X.
but I mean, I'm talking about the meeting though.
Yeah, it was the graph was messed up.
Right, it was just a misprint, and the guy corrected it when he was there. And I mean, he could have.
He apologized for it and corrected it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, and that's kind of like cutthroat corporate mentality. I mean, he's looking to bring other people down to make himself look good, and so
exactly.
Yeah, he was shifting the blame
Mm-hmm.
rather than just apologizing. Oh, sorry, this is a slight error. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Rather than having to even say anything about this is the type of error that would cause us to lose all sort of corporate ties to other companies and be ridiculous. Like that's just absolutely insane.
I mean, obviously,
like a sociopath.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's like posturing, like with him being so new and, kind of wanting people to take him seriously and wanting people to raise their expectations and kind of making himself known, but just rubbed too many people the wrong way for it to be effective.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next question. Let's see. What would you recommend to maintain, change, or build the existing culture?
So I'll go ahead and I'll start this off.
Okay.
I think that for them to successfully change the culture, they would definitely need to start by listening to the wants and needs of each and every team member individually. If they're just treating each team like they're a factory of results, then they're gonna start to feel unwanted and uncared for and like they're not being heard. So I think that he needs to go ahead and take a step back and show his team that he cares for them. Otherwise, like I said earlier, they won't care about the work and they won't care to help him or do anything that of real value.
Sure. Well, what would Mary's role be in that culture change?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, at that point, if she's recognized that this is a big enough issue, she might assign him to take some management classes. That's That's something that I've seen happen before, where managers have had to go receive training for behavior. So I used to work for the student store on campus. We had this guy who worked in the back who was fired eventually, but before he was fired, he was sent to some anger management classes paid for by campus, and he was also sent to some management classes because he was having a hard time managing his team. And I kind of felt like this story really matched up to him, to where he was trying to like not shift blame, or where he was trying to shift blame from himself to other people and even his own team. And really, that's just at the end of the day not very Christ-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I'd almost give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he doesn't know he's doing it. I mean, I'd kind of pull him aside and say, this is the culture of the company. This is the kind of attitude we don't like. You recognize that before jumping to, you need anger management issues.
Yeah.
That's just how he is. I mean, there's people like that. But yeah, then of course, if it continues to escalate, then yeah, definitely that'd be the correct path, I think.
Yeah.
She also needs to consider the way she deals with him needs to be an example of like how she wants him to deal with his team. So if she just confronts him and points out what's not working, then that's kind of sending a message that what he's doing is okay.
Mm-hmm. So this asks about obviously we've talked a lot about what Simon needs to do, so I don't think we need to go too much into that. Let's see. So what would be the role of the team members in maintaining and keeping that culture?
They need to provide open and honest communication about their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, they won't see any progress with their manager or within themselves either. Problems will just stay underlying instead of being able to be worked on.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's a problem with the whole culture, that means it's probably not just this guy, right? So more people would probably have to be involved with, if they really needed to change the culture of the company, like you were saying, Jose. They'd have to get more people involved in that, I think. Yeah, and I just meet with people, talk to them, see how they're feeling, what they like about the job, what they feel like could be done better.
Yeah, and I think the base is there for that, to accept feedback from the employees, because clearly, I don't even remember the other dude's name that came and started yelling at Mary about Simon.
John
Lutherford or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was
John Selburn.
Right. So
yeah,
I think the culture's there. It's just I don't know. It's obviously not an isolated incident because they talked about two different incidents. So
yeah, I think that's a good point about the culture, actually, because if it shows that multiple people are really aggressive in the way that they approach things. So like Shelburne, he immediately showed up and was like, "What the heck was that? Like, why was he freaking acting that way?" Like he was already being aggressive with the way he was talking as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that does kind of show something about the culture.
Because
it's not just the main guy,
Simon.
About Simon, yeah.
Right. And I think Mary handled that situation well too. She said she'd look into it. She didn't just all of a sudden believe him and go and jump on Simon. So all right, let's see. How should Mary approach so how should she approach her decision on what she does with Simon?
I think going along with like the readings that we did, aside from the case study, like planning it all out, writing it down, thinking about what he could possibly get out of it or what might go wrong with the conversation, and just ensuring that like overall it's positive and she's not like telling him how to change, but she's showing him things about his team that she knows because she's been there longer, and kind of allowing him to see how he could grow, how his team could grow if certain things were improved. and just kind of focusing on like positive and like growth rather than like putting out his fire, because like he does have incredible potential. He just needs to kind of like soften his approach.
Right. Yeah, kind of those steps. What was it? Constructive criticism. Those steps that were mentioned.
Yeah.
And you kind of mentioned it too. Maybe he doesn't even notice what he's doing. I mean, some people just don't know how, because a lot of being a manager is not just managing operations and what's going on, but managing people and making sure they like you and they like working for you. And maybe he just doesn't realize that he's being harsh. And some people are just very straightforward and they come off as harsh, but they don't mean to be. That could be this situation as well. I think she'd have to bring him in and thank him, tell him how awesome he is and he's doing a great job in his new role, and just say you want to make sure that you're maximizing what your team's doing and making sure to get the best out of everyone. And I kind of noticed that maybe they don't respond too well to this, and then go from there.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Definitely want to build them up. Of course, you want to point out the positives. Okay, what are the best effective methods Mary can use to make the discussion productive? I kind of think we covered pretty well that. I mean, definitely one-on-one. You don't want to have a group meeting or something like this.
It's not like a discussion board of
roasting.
Yeah.
Let's see. Describe the principles of effective feedback and how to apply them in the situation. We've kind of talked about that too. You want to make sure you build them up. Make sure you point out all the good stuff first, and then not completely derail them.
So something. Oh, go ahead.
There you go.
Okay, so something that was really cool. It like totally applied to the reading as well. My husband came home the other day, and he's in like a high pressure sales type job. And he said that one of his superiors came and was just kind of talking to him casually and just kind of saying like, telling him like some of the jokes that he tells when he's pitching people and when he's selling people. And he said like through the conversation, my husband realized that he needed to lighten up. He was taking everything so serious. He was focused on the numbers. He was focused on, he needs to hit like a certain quota. And he said, one of my strengths is my personality, but nobody can see it because I'm so focused. And I kind of told him, like, that's interesting that your superior was able to do it that way. Like, rather than coming over and telling you, hey, you need to lighten up, try throwing some jokes in the mix or things like that. Like, he said it and he did it in a way that made him realize. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
So my wife is a social worker. Kind of the idea with social work is that you're not telling the people how to solve their problems, but you're kind of helping them come to their own conclusion of the best way for them to solve their problems. And so I totally agree with you that it's not about the manager just going up and like saying you need to lighten up. It's going up and saying, here's what works for me. Like, this works for me. You don't have to say this could work for you. This works for me. And I think that, I don't know.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yep, making yourself the example. I mean, obviously, a culture is not going to exist if you're not following within that culture itself. So.
Yeah.
So, what were some of the recommendations you put in your case study?
I recommended that he follow the what is that? The 5. What are those 5 steps again? What's the name of that book that we're supposed to read later in class?
Oh, the 5.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 5 dysfunctions of a team. I recommended that he read that book.
There you go.
I've read that book before. It's really good. It talks about communication. It talks about so it's kind of like through communication you gain trust. Through trust you gain I can't remember all the steps, but basically you gain trust, you gain want to do work, you gain the ability to streamline the flow of work. You gain the ability to do all these great things just by having good communication, good, kind communication.
Cool. What so from our reading 7 Habits of Effective People so far, does any of that apply to this case study?
Definitely. I think he is somebody who's driven by the results. So that's his personal drive, which it was talking about in this last habit. Think about the end. What was that? The end in mind or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that he's so driven by his results that it causes him to just see red when the results aren't quite up to his expectations.
I agree. All right, let's see. So I guess in conclusion, we're just kind of go over what we learned, that basically Mary needs to continue her example as how the culture that she wants within her company, well, the company, and that bringing him in and making sure that he understands what is actually expected, perhaps if necessary, if there are any consequences that need to happen, that he's aware of how those consequences will be handed out, or if the event happens again. Obviously, you want to give the guy a chance. Yeah. Anything else you guys think? Summarize what we just talked about. We good?
I think that's
Go for it, Valerie.
What? Are you waiting for me? So I just kind of summarized, like, one thing I kind of included that I think is an important skill as a manager is, and especially dealing at that level, is sometimes you have to know when and like how to stroke the ego, in order to kind of really work with someone like that, because that is what they respond to. They respond to being given credit where credit's due. And then, so one thing I kind of focused on was Mary talking to him about him setting the strategy for how to move forward, rather than, again, like her implementing what changes she thought. And then just kind of like telling him, thanking him for being open-minded, thanking him for coming up with these solutions to how to deal with this, and again putting it back to him of like, thank you for helping me to solve this problem that I kind of see and that I need your help to solve, kind of thing. Just treating him more as like an equal
Rather than top-down managing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Cool. Just, I guess, to end off, I'm in Idaho. Grace, I don't know. It's in the middle of nowhere, so I guess Lava Hot Springs is the closest. Married, 4 kids. I've been at my job for about 15 years. I do hydroelectric operations. Love it. Don't plan on leaving. I'm just in school to finish up what I started years ago. So, what about you guys?
I currently live in Orem, Utah. Obviously, I got married in April, and she goes to dental hygiene school here. I'm working full-time as a leasing manager of an apartment complex. So, yeah, I was selling cars for a little while, and then just started doing this last week, actually. So.
Oh, cool.
Very nice. For me, I'm 21, got married when I was 19 and moved up to Idaho with my wife to go to school at BYUI. I'm a CIT major. I love computers, and so I was actually speaking with my boss one day about looking for opportunities within my current job to gain management skills. He recommended that I take this class alongside giving me this other position. And so far, I really like the ideas and the principles that are taught. I really liked the case study and giving my own opinions on it. So, yeah.
Cool. I also live in Orem. I'm also finishing what I started a long time ago. And I bounced around like a lot of different majors and just finally settled on business. And ever since I did, like business management, ever since I did, I just felt like school has been so much more fun. And I don't even mind like the readings because it's so interesting. And last month, my husband and I bought a yoga studio.
Wow.
So we're in the process of just like, I'm trying to digest all of this and just like apply it immediately because, you know, I've already had to have some of these difficult conversations and so it's been pretty interesting.
That's
But yeah, I look forward to this class. I think I'm gonna get a lot out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually lived in Orem, just on 1600 North. Those apartments right there.
Okay.
15, 20 years ago. That's where we.
Crazy. Yeah, I had cousins that went to Orem High.
Oh, okay.
We all know the area.
I went to West Jordan High School in Utah. So.
Oh, awesome. Do you guys know where I post the link to this?
I think it's in. Well, I know you got to put it in the discussion, and then possibly.
Which discussion is it?
That's what it said in the directions. I actually haven't looked into it exactly where.
So do we each post it, or is there just one person?
No, I think there's just one person.
Okay.
It was supposed to be me, but I clearly don't know how to record, so.
Okay, so this was recorded and then it's posted?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the next group leader?
Brother Lamphere will send that out.
Okay.
I thought.
Just kidding.
Actually, I think we have it.
That's one of my duties. We're supposed to sign up for.
Oh yeah.
I have the sheet pulled up here if we want to do it.
Yeah, I printed it. There it is. Grab a pen. All right. So who wants lesson 3?
I'll take lesson 3.
Okay.
Wasn't this lesson 3?
This is week 3, right?
Week 3, yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe. So lesson 3 is different. Yeah, I'll take next week.
Maybe. I don't know. Well, it says LO3. Oh, let's go 4. Let's forget 3.
Yeah, go 4.
All right. And you go by Keen?
Ian, yeah.
Okay. 5?
I'll do 5.
Okay. Valerie.
We don't have to meet every other week.
What's that?
We only have to meet every other week then? That's not so bad.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, looks like every week.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, except the 11th.
Oh, gotcha.
And the 13th and 14th.
So I'll do 6.
So Zach, you got 6. You just want me to continue that? I'll do 7.
We have one more person in our group, so hopefully we could get him next week. And
we had Alicia, and she dropped out. I don't know.
It's unfortunate. It turns out that the write-up and this course load for this week wasn't even that bad. Really, it was just the write-up that took like an hour or so.
Right.
The reading is a little bit long.
Yeah, I'm still trying to. I got 3 classes, and I'm trying to figure out all the turn-in dates. Everything's all jumbled in my mind still.
Yeah, usually about week 5 is when it gets better.
You could ask.
You guys are all 4. You guys. I feel bad for you. You're all online, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I've got 3 on campus classes, so
there you go.
A little bit easier.
Yeah. So Alicia was the other one in our group, and she's gone now. She dropped out. So
then we'll just keep rotating through.
Yep. It'll just be us 4, and so.
Okay, so next is Keen, then me, then Zach, then Legrand, then we go back to Keen.
Yep, we'll do it like that, and then I'll email this sheet to you.
Okay.
So
cool.
I guess that's it. We're good.
Yeah.
So
I'll post the link on the just on the same discussion board that we already posted on.
The new one. Well, yeah, I guess.
The Mary Griffin one?
Oh, I don't know.
Did we already post on that?
I remember it saying on the there was a description right before the actual discussion board, and it just said go to the next, press the arrow to go to the next page where you'll upload the link. So it's a dedicated one, I believe. Am I wrong?
I don't know. I'm looking right now. I think I'm in the right class. So there's the case study, which
yeah. So like the case study activity discussion board is. You think I should post it there?
Let's see. Case study activity instructions.
It's just important. Post the link to this discussion board, which is in the case study discussion board, the one that we started first, or I'm not sure.
So I did maybe I did this wrong. I did the whole case study and typed up my paper and turned that in, but then I also commented on the discussion board.
Right, and I think it looks like you're the only one that's in group 9 that's done that. So I think that's where you post it.
Okay, so just post okay.
Yeah. Because you're the only one in there. So I'd just jump on there and post it in there.
So we don't have to comment on that discussion board, or we don't have to post on that discussion board?
Yeah, I think we still do.
Oh, okay.
But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm reading the directions right now, so.
Looking in.
Maybe that's what it's just for. It's just for our Google Hangout. I guess I'll write a question and see if that's exactly what we got to do, but we'll figure it out. I'd just post that for now, and then if we need to individually post something too, we'll get on it. So, all right, guys, appreciate it.
All right,
okay,
well,
thanks.
Good meeting y'all.
Yep. See you next week.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.